Hey everyone, we're going to get started in just a minute here, and we will be ready to cook with Jess, so hold tight. It'll be about 1 minute. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator at Seward Co-op. I am here with Jess today, who will be showing us a breakfast hash recipe. Thank you so much for coming to our Nourish class. We have a series of these coming up over the next couple of months. Jess's next class is going to be on August 11th. She'll be making a beet citrus salad. So you can sign up for that on the Seward website. Otherwise, Jess is going to show you this really awesome recipe. And if you have questions for her or any comments or anything like that, put them in the chat box and I'll relay them to her and then she can answer them as she's cooking. So any questions are open, techniques, other things you want to know, anything about Jess, we're here to answer your questions. So enjoy the class and we hope to see you at future classes here at Seward Co-op. Here's Jess.
Hi guys. Thanks for coming. Happy Saturday. A little more.
There you go.
Oh, let's go. Thank you, Laura. And if you didn't, this is your first time coming, again, my name is Jess and I am a personal chef. I own Jess Delicious. And I've been doing the Nourish class for about 2 years now. And it's been a really awesome opportunity and I've been able to meet a lot of people and collaborate, so it's been a lot of fun. So today we are going to make, I like to call it Southwestern hash. It's super simple. It maybe takes 15 minutes, and what I really like about it is that you can cook it ahead of time and then put it away, and it stays for up to 5 or 6 days. So I work at the hospital, I work during the day, and so it's great because you can just take it with you when you go, add an egg or some avocado to it, and that's your breakfast, and it's really hearty and filling. So let's get started, and we're gonna turn on our pan. And the first thing you want to do is cook your hash browns. You're going to cook them separately. And the key to good hash browns, so I just buy the frozen because they're quick and easy and you can have a couple pre-stored in your freezer. But if you did want to do your own, which is fine, all you would do is you would shave your potatoes off, but with a shredder. And then you're going to soak them because you want to get all that starch off, because that starch is what's going to melt everything together and make it kind of mushy. So you want to soak it for about 5 or 10 minutes with salt. And then you're going to take them out and then you're going to wipe them off and make sure they're really dry before you start to cook them. That's kind of the secret to good hash browns if you make them on your own. But for today, we're just going to kind of cut. So this is either a vegan, vegetarian. You can convert it to however you like to eat. This one is going to be vegan because Laura is actually vegan, and she just told me that last time she did it, so she didn't get to eat the food. But she will. So.
It smelled good.
So we're going to start with like butter or oil, whichever you prefer to cook with. This is a Miyoko, and it is an awesome vegan butter. I use this for Earth Balance. And so... Oh, it's actually like I'm really buttery. So we're gonna just drop this in the pan. That's gonna start melting.
How much butter do you use, Jess?
I use about 2 tablespoons of butter. Same with oil, if I'm using oil. I like to cook, olive oil is kind of hard when you're actually like cooking and sauteing stuff because it doesn't have that high heat. So I use avocado oil a lot, and that has a higher heat resistance, so it's got a less smoke rate. Thank you. Let this down.
Jess, where did you learn to start cooking?
I went to culinary school, actually here in Mendota Heights, like Cordon Bleu. No longer here in the U.S. at all. And I went right out of high school, and it was good. It was a good experience. It was French cuisine, so it was definitely more of a fine dining technique, which right now is not really. It's kind of it's a dying culture. So, but it gave me a lot of skills, and it showed me how to really work with my knife and do things like that. So that I'm grateful for that. And then just coming out of it, I think a lot of people just choose what they want to do, whether they want to work in the restaurant industry or they want to work for themselves. I worked in kitchens probably for 6 years after, and then I realized that I wasn't cooking for myself. I was cooking for other people, and I was doing the same thing over and over, and so it was really monotonous. And so I didn't have as much fun, so I left, and then I ended up going and starting in a hospital because I thought maybe I could be a nurse, and I don't want to do that actually. But I respect all nurses; they are amazing. They do beautiful work, and yeah. So I decided probably 8 years ago to start Just Delicious, and it was realizing how big of a need it was for people to be informed about healthy cooking and a way to go and show people. So I go into people's homes and I either teach them how to cook or I cook for them if they're really busy as a personal chef. And I think that everybody should be able to cook for themselves and cook healthy. And it's just about, you know, learning it and finding the time and educating. And that's what I love about these classes is they're just little 15, 25-minute shows, but you can learn so much from it. So we're grateful for it.
Excuse me, how much butter did you put in?
So we really have to go in.
How much butter did you put in?
So the key to good hash browns, just like rice, leave it alone. And when you leave it alone, that's when it's going to start to crisp up and it's going to give you that really nice brown texture on the bottom that makes hash browns so good. So we're going to just kind of let that hang out and do its thing. And then while your hash browns are cooking, you can start to chop your vegetables. So we have green pepper, jalapeno, yellow onion, and we can start right now.
And that was 2 tablespoons of butter, right?
Yep. So I like to dice a little uniformed. It just makes things cook evenly.
Are you dicing these really thin and small, or how do you like to dice them?
I would say relatively small because, I mean, however you cook, so essentially just think of how you want to eat it. So do you want to like try to like move your mouth around it, or do you want it to be like the perfect bite that you can put in your mouth? So these are, you know, uniform, they're mouth sized. And also when you're cooking and you're cutting vegetables, think of like what you're cooking it with. So these hash browns right here, they're like this size too. So you want to make sure it's even. I'm actually going to show you a trick because this is moving around. So here's a little hack. If you have a cutting board and it's moving, all you have to do is wet a towel and then you put it under and then it won't move. I should have done that earlier, but now you get to know what I do. So.
Jess, what's your favorite thing to cook at home?
Oh my gosh. I cook a lot of plant-based. I personally like to do plant-based alternatives. So I like to cook with jackfruit, which we're actually going to do a jackfruit enchilada. That's so good coming up soon. So you'll have to join me for that. I cook with a lot of lentils and beans. It's funny because when I met my husband, he was like big carnivore, loved dairy, all of it. And it's been funny to see his transition now. Well, it's basically he eats what I cook, but he actually enjoys all the food that we're cooking too. And I think that is a big part of plant-based cooking is that there's that misconception that it's just like lettuce and, you know, fruit and it's very unseasoned and it doesn't really taste that good. And nowadays there's so many amazing alternatives and things that we can do. And it's really fun just learning about different techniques. I do a lot of ethnic cuisine. I do a lot of Instapot. So I'm more for flavor, but fast. So what can I do that's going to be efficient and tasty and not keep me in the kitchen for hours?
How hot should the pan be when you're cooking these hash browns?
I would say medium to high heat. I have mine on at about an 8 right now. And you can, I don't know if you can hear them, but they are kind of sizzling. So I would say leave them for the first 5 minutes to just get it to kind of get that nice crust. Is anybody actually following along and cooking with me today?
We'll find out. So what's the deal with jalapenos and the seeds? How spicy, you know, what is like the spiciness of how much jalapeno I should use if I like it really spicy?
That's a great question. So I would use a Midwestern scale. So if you like Tabasco and that's hot for you, don't use the seeds. If you like or like a Cholula. So if you're like a Tabasco Cholula kind of person, don't use the seeds because you never know too. It's so, you could get one that has pretty much no heat and then you could turn around and get one that has all the heat. So if you want to leave some in, I just take them out myself personally because I let the other heat in different things. So like our seasonings do the heat for it. But I mean, if you love heat, I would definitely add them in. Why not?
We do have some folks cooking along with you.
Oh my gosh, I want to see everybody's, I want to know how everybody thinks too. And then this is a great recipe, like I said, that you can always add things. So if you love eggs, you can add an egg on top of it. I love like a good runny yolk on top and it's awesome. So now we're gonna do the onion. I don't know if you guys know the secret about the onion, but I'm gonna tell you. So it's got like this little sprouted guy at the top and then the other's the bottom. This is gonna keep everything uniformed and confined. So when you cook it, it's gonna be, so when you cut it, it's gonna just stay in one piece. So you cut off the bottom and then you cut it down the middle. And then you just peel back the skin and kind of leaves you that little knob. So you can just hold the knob and that's how you can actually cook it or cut it.
Show us what are you doing when you're cutting it like this?
So you're gonna do it this horizontal.
Yep.
Horizontal and then vertical. So you just kind of go along with, you can see the natural ridges and lines. So you're gonna go once or twice that way, and then you're gonna go vertically, and you're going to make little incisions along the knife. And it's so great because this keeps everything in place. So if you were to cut this off, it would be moving all over the place. And then you're gonna
hold it up and show us what it looks like when it's all connected and stuff.
So I cut it, but it's still connected, and it's connected by this little hairy guy right here. So it keeps it all together. And then once you go vertical and horizontal and vertical, then you're gonna chop, and it's going to keep everything uniform, but it's going to cut your perfect little dice. So as you can see, it kind of comes out in a nice little cube. So onions are actually really easy to cook as long as you're not crying with them. Like that. So let's check our hash browns. They're getting there. They're slow. They're slow today.
What are you looking for to see when the hash browns are done?
So again, it's going to be kind of brown on the bottom, and you can kind of just lift it up a little bit to see that it's browning. If you want, you can always season this too as well. A little salt and pepper. I mean, like that. Never have enough seasoning, never have enough salt and pepper. Okay, so.
What type of pan is best to use? Is a cast iron pan okay, or do you like these enamel ones?
It depends. If you have a really good, well-seasoned cast iron skillet, absolutely, it's gonna get that nice crust on it. I have mine at home, but I don't want to carry it all the way in here, so it's at home. But otherwise, a nice non-stick light pan will do it. Anything that's not stick. So if you don't have something really well seasoned or stick, I wouldn't do it because then all of your potatoes and everything are going to stick to the bottom of it.
How do you keep from burning your fingers when you chop the hot peppers?
I don't touch my eyes. I mean, unless you are going straight for your face right after you're touching them, you're really not gonna get it. It's not like fumes like onions. We can hear it. You guys hear it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna mix it up a little bit. You can kind of see they're starting to brown a little. Brown shrimp. All right, and again, so you're gonna go lengthwise, towards. And then you're gonna take the foot. All right. That. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Can this be made in advance, or do you just like to make it right before?
Nope, I make it in advance. This is one of my go-tos for the week if I cook. And it actually makes a lot. There's probably 6 servings in it. So I make it ahead, I'll put it aside. And then in the mornings, I'll just dish it up before I go to work. I actually like adding a hard-boiled egg when I work, just so you don't have to put the runny egg on it. And then just add a little bit more salsa or avocado. And then, yeah, it's awesome. It's perfect. And it holds up really well. And the flavors get better as you go. You know how certain things taste better when you know, a couple days later. This is one of them.
How do you reheat it? Do you just put it in the microwave, or do you like to heat it up in a pan so the oven, or so the potatoes get crispy again?
If I'm going to work, I'll just put it in the microwave. We don't have an oven, unfortunately. But yeah, if I was at home, I would throw it all in a pan for sure, just to add a little more oil or butter. Oh, cilantro smells so good.
What if someone doesn't like cilantro? Is this good without cilantro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can use any herb really. You could use parsley, Italian parsley. I think of what else. Cumin. Well, we have the dry seasoning, so you could just omit it if you don't like it. I love cilantro.
You fold this whole thing into a breakfast burrito.
That would be a big burrito, like a really big burrito. I mean, you could attempt to do it. Actually, you know what I've done before? It's really good. Is you have it and you have it on your bottom, and you take like a round pan or like a small baking dish, and then you spray it down, and then you put this hash down on the bottom, and then you put egg on it. Like you do some scrambled egg, like 4 to 5 eggs, and you scramble it with a little dairy or soy milk or whatever of your choice to make it creamy. And then you put it over it, and then you have your oven at 400, and then you put some cheese on it, like some mozzarella or some chipotle or anything like that, like a pepper jack. And then you just bake it in the oven, and it's like an egg frittata with the southwestern hash at the bottom. It's so good. And that's, again, just like another way that you can take something like this and then change it into something else. And that's, I'm a big fan of, because you can get kind of sick of the same old food day in and day out, especially if you're like a smaller family or you're by yourself. You don't want to eat the same leftovers every day for 6 days. So that's a way that you can kind of create something else with it and not get sick of it.
So here's a question from Valerie. When using fresh herbs, is it better to add them at the very end of cooking or mix them in when cooking?
At the end, great question. Just because they get really mushy, and so you just want to do it for a light, like a pick-me-up, because you still want them to be bright. And if you cook them, they get a little duller. So like when I make my spaghetti sauce or when I do anything, I always add like my basil or my cilantro at the very end with no heat, just to give it that extra kick. So, you know, this is to be at your own discretion, however you want them done. And it's always going to cook more too when you add everything together. Oh, I love hash browns so much. Okay, and then you can open up your can of black beans. You can definitely use whole beans that you've made ahead of time. This is just quicker again, so I'm gonna rinse these off. And then, so this is the time too. If you wanted to do something other than beans, so let's say you want a chorizo, I've done it with chorizo before too when I've eaten meat. Basically, you're going to add the chorizo when you add all of your veg. So you're gonna take it almost like a ground beef as you would like for a taco. So you would take your sausage or your chorizo after you do the hash browns and you would cook that first. And then you would add the vegetables to it to add to it. Just to make sure that your meat is cooked. But with black beans, you're gonna add them at the end because they are already cooked and you don't want them to be super mushy. All right, so I think these are actually, they're pretty good. Some of them are brown, not all of them, but. So you wanna take it off the hot burner and you're gonna put them in a separate container for later. Down a little bit. And you're gonna add in more butter or oil, whichever you prefer.
I've never had this Miyoko's before. Can we get this at the co-op?
You can, and then I don't know, Miyoko, it's an amazing California company, and she does awesome cheeses and alternative dairy products. And she also, if you follow her on Facebook, does these lives actually like this, and she does live recipes, and they're so awesome and cool to follow. She's like what I hope to be, for sure. And she's like a vegan cooking guru. So yeah, she's definitely fun. Okay, so that's melted, and so you're gonna add in your veg.
Can you remind us what's in that little bowl again?
Yep, so it's 1 green pepper, 1 jalapeno, and 1 small yellow onion all chopped.
Jess, what's the difference between vegan butter and margarine? Asks Heidi.
Oh gosh.
Vegan, well, I think
Isn't it like oil?
yeah, margarine is
Hydrogenated oil?
yeah, hydrogenated
And
oil.
this is actually coconut oil, so it's not just that hydrogenated. So this is a little better for you. This has got coconut oil, cashew milk. You can make so many things with cashews. We should have an episode on just cashews because they're like God's gift. They're amazing. Filtered water, sunflower oil, sunflower lectin. So I think it's oil versus just more whole foods. I think, and then I'm not really sure what Earth Balance has either.
Earth Balance is soy, I think.
Is it soy based?
Yeah.
Okay, so for seasoning, I already pre-advanced measured it out, but it is got, let's see, a whole tablespoon of cumin, I believe, half a teaspoon of cayenne, and half a teaspoon of salt and pepper. And you can, again, it's very versatile, so you can add whatever you want to it to give it that flavor that you're looking for. You can always add more veg to it too. Like this is, I mean, if you have another pepper or something like going bad in your fridge, this is the time to like just kind of throw it in. It's kind of almost like a garbage hash, if you will.
Trash hash.
Trash hash. It's your trash hash. So you can put whatever. I put mushrooms in it before. think I've shredded carrots in before too for a little sweetness, which is really nice. I've used red pepper. I make a similar one to this that is, well, yeah, that has just like red pepper, and that's just, well, it's like the same thing. Yeah. So
Sounds like something you could use a CSA to kind of bulk up when you're trying to go through your
oh
CSA.
yes, yeah, and you can add some greens at the end too. So if you have like some kale or spinach that you want, you could definitely add that in the end as well, just like you would with the herbs. So how's everybody doing? Are we cooking? Is everything happening?
It's all happening. Yeah, maybe do you want to ask what other people have been cooking?
Yeah, so since we've been in home more, I'd like to know, what have you been cooking? What is something that you haven't maybe cooked before that you tried making? I'm always open for awesome ideas too, to learn what I can cook.
When do you put the spices in? Like, how do you know when to add spices to sauteed stuff?
When it starts to break down, like you can kind of already see that like the onions are translucent. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but once they start getting like that opaque color, it's really good to add the seasoning. I like adding the seasoning while I'm sauteing something because it opens up all the seasoning. So all your dry herbs, if you want to hit them with heat, it's going to open it up and like really enhance the flavors. So we can actually probably put this in now.
Katie says they are cooking scallops.
Ooh.
We've got, oh my gosh, Krishanda cooking Ethiopian stew.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Sounds so good.
That sounds amazing. Oh, it smells so good. Those of you cooking with me, if you have anybody sleepy right now, they're going to be getting up.
Sarah made your Monte Cristo egg bake.
Oh, yes! And you ate it all yourself?
Haley says they often make their own burritos or nachos for the household that includes 2 kids. Folks can pick out what they like, and they like to branch out. That's
yeah,
cool.
I love that. I love like that DIY for kids too, because I was a nanny for 6 years, and that's how you get kids to try to cook or to eat different things, is they make it themselves, you know. So they like being a part of it and seeing the progress of it too, which is cool. So that's a great idea. Or like baked potato bar, kids like, because they love, who doesn't love potatoes? Or like a pasta bar I've done before, where you take like a mac and cheese and then you have different sides like peas and bacon and mushrooms and breadcrumbs, and then they can kind of add their own that way. So we're gonna add in our rinsed.
Can you give us a recap of everything that's in that pan so far?
Yes, it is green pepper, jalapeno, yellow onion, and now some black beans with the seasoning, and the seasoning is cumin and cayenne with salt and pepper. Mmm, so good.
It smells really good.
Mm-hmm.
And you drained those black beans.
I did. Yep, I drained them. Yeah.
Cool.
So cooking.
And then we're just heating the black beans through, or?
Yeah, we're just gonna heat them through. They're already cooked, which is great. So it saves on a lot of time. And we're just making sure that, yeah, the flavors are melding together. And we'll cook it for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add our hash browns back in. What is everybody's favorite brunch? I know that we're not really brunching anymore and going out. So have people been brunching at home, or do they have like a favorite drink or anything like that?
Yeah. Also, Katie asked if anyone has web links to recipes they enjoyed cooking at home. They would love to hear. And Jess, do you have any resources? You know, you mentioned Minneapolis as being like a really good vegan recipe website. Do you have any other resources that you like?
Pinterest. Pinterest is like the alchemy of all things that you can just kind of plug in and then you get a bunch of different sets. Or honestly, Instagram is actually really good because you can search out anything you're looking for. So you can do tacos, or you can do sweet potatoes or something like that, and the hashtag will come up, and then you'll just see a list of all of these awesome dishes that are created with that main ingredient. And then you can start looking into them and then seeing what they have. And a lot of them, actually, I am going to be starting a blog very soon. It's in progress. So you'll definitely have to follow me. I'm hoping to have it up and running by our next segment. So stay tuned for that. And it's going to be called Just Delicious Living. So yeah, so that's exciting. So you can follow me too and learn some tips and tricks if you enjoy stuff like this. Minimalist Baker is really good. Also, actually, out of
I love Minimalist Baker.
Yeah, out of I think they're out of Minneapolis too.
Yep.
So that's a good one that I love. Okay, so I added the hash brown, and you're just gonna kind of nicely fold in all of the flavors. Be kind to your potatoes.
I'm just gonna show what's going on here. Tell me what you mean by be kind to your potatoes.
Well, potatoes can be fragile, so you don't want to just like go to town. So if you have a spatula, a rubber spatula, that's what I prefer, or like a wooden spoon, because then you can just incorporate things nicely and not really mash all the potatoes so it's really mashed. So you can see, oh, it smells so good, guys. And so then you can add your favorite salsa. So this is one of my favorite salsas. You can get it pretty much anywhere at the co-op for sure. It is the tomatillo salsa, or like a verde salsa from Frontera. Love it, so good. And I would put in about, I would say, a cup. And again, you can skip it. It's gonna be fine without it. I just like to add that added flavor. And again, you're gonna just kind of wanna gently fold it into each other. All right. As you can see, it's nice and incorporated. Looks great. And then we're gonna turn off the heat, and we're gonna finally add the cilantro. See, that was like, what was that, like 10 minutes, 15? Such a quick recipe. And again, this is one of them that if you let it sit and then you reheat, it gets so much better over time. So the next day, even better. I do like that burrito idea too. I probably wouldn't use all of it, but you could probably use like a fourth or half a cup, add some scrambled eggs, add some cheese of choice, add a little more salsa, sour cream, whatever you're looking for. So, all right, so it's ready. I hope if you're following along, yours is coming up to an end as well.
I bet this would be good topped with tomatoes.
Or avocado. I love it with avocado because it's got like that creamy with the spicy, so that's really good. All right.
Do you want to see if anyone else has any questions?
Yeah, does anybody else have any questions for me? I know this is nice and quick, nice Sunday brunch idea that you can do really quickly. Do you have forks?
Oh, we'll get some forks ready. I don't think I have it.
Yeah, I like in there and see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, I'm not gonna eat this one. Do you want to? Sure.
I don't eat beans.
You don't eat beans? Oh my god!
Am I gonna be the person that has to try this for everybody?
Yes, have Laura
Okay,
come
I'll
in. She's
be
gonna be the
practicing
taste
it.
tester. I did kind of make it like vegan curious.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Right back.
Thanks for coming, y'all. This is a beautiful recipe that Jess shared with us today. She has another class coming up on August 11th, and it is going to be a beet citrus salad. I will be sending out the link after this class for that recipe, so you can keep an eye out for that and sign up for that class as well. And then in addition, we also have a class evaluation survey that I'll be mailing out. So keep an eye peeled for that. If you can fill that out super quick, it's just some like multiple choice things, helps kind of shape what the future of our virtual classes look like at Seward Co-op. We also have a series of fall classes coming up, and Jess will be back to teach more, including that how to cook jackfruit class. We're going to have a series of Ugandan vegan cooking classes. I know. We're going to have how to make your own soap. So we're going to have all sorts of fun stuff, and it's all going to be virtual. The majority of them are going to be free. So keep your eyes peeled on the Seward Co-op website for those, and we will definitely be looking forward to having you join us for any of our virtual classes coming up the next few months.
Yeah, and then also just decide if this is too spicy for you, Midwest Cats. I would omit the cayenne completely and just have like the jalapeno.
It's spicy.
Well, it's got a little kick. It's a good thing I took out the jalapeno seeds. So that's just an FYI. If it is a little too spicy for you, you can take that out.
Oh, but it's delicious.
But it's so good, right? I hope you guys like it. Please give us some feedback. I'd love to hear it. If you want to see certain things, again, just write it on the comments and let us know, and hopefully I can come back and help you out. So,
yeah.
Thanks for coming.